Recording, so I'm not really sure why we're talking right now because I am currently recording. So I'm not sure, Cheyenne, while you're talking right now, it is picking up everything you're saying. Okay. Thank you, Tiff. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to look at the proofs from yesterday first. Okay? So that would be, not this. It would be, yes it did. It does that. I said it's going to go slow. Okay. But you were having a conversation while I'm saying that. Okay. So, we've got our proofs here. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go over the answers to each one. All right. First, we've got C is the midpoint of BE that's given. Then we have BC is congruent to EC by definition of a midpoint. Then we've got C is the midpoint of AD given. And AC is congruent to DC by definition of a midpoint. C is the midpoint of AD given. AC is congruent to DC by definition of a midpoint. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 by vertical angles. And triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEC by side angle side. Yes, ma'am.
It's number 1.
Yeah.
The other one. It's number 2. Oh.
It's number 1. Okay, let's look at.
Wait, how many parts are number 1?
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, guys. We're going to look at number 2 now. We're going to look at number 2. Shh. It does take a minute. There we go. We have angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles given. We have then the triangle ABD and triangle CDB are right triangles by definition of right triangles. We have BD is congruent to BD by reflexive property. AD is congruent to CB by given. And so the triangles are congruent to each other by hypotenuse leg. Okay, let's move on to number 3. BD bisects AC given. AD is congruent to CD by definition of segment bisectors. AC is congruent to AC by given. AB is congruent to CB if two angles of a triangle are congruent and the sides of those angles are congruent. And then the triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. If you had AC and is congruent, A is congruent to C, and AB is congruent to CB at the top, and then the bisectors following it, I would have given you that too. So I had a lot of people have that. Okay. All right. Next, let's look at our vocab. Next, let's look at our vocab. We're going to add CPCTC to it. We went over this a little bit yesterday. I added it in the board. It was the warm-up for the day, and now we are going to make sure we have it in our list of vocab. CPCTC stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And I've got an example. These triangles are congruent by side angle side. So angle B is congruent to angle E by CPCTC. And then I have corresponding angles. If two lines are parallel and cut by a transversal, then the pair of corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, I am going to stop recording, but I'm going to put this back up so you can make sure you can copy it down. But again, I'm going to stop recording. I'm not going to have the homework up there. And I'm going to scoot this up a little bit so you can see corresponding angles picture.